Oh my God, trip down memory lane, guys. Trip down memory lane. Let's go with trip down memory lane, ne? From Ground Up episode 1. Oh my God, I'm sun-kissed.
Efficiency, which is an order block also on the higher time frame. Can you see that it's right there? Our zone is right there. So now it makes more sense for us to actually look at that zone before we drop.
Recap, no cap.
So basically when I just checked the market, when the market opened at 12 a.m. I mean, when I checked the market, I saw that we had our entry criteria. So basically we were in from midnight technically, and the whole day was a very, very, very slow day, right? So others could easily enter off of this order block right here. And it literally gave 1, 2, 3 opportunities to enter. So right at the beginning of London, could have entered easily right here, which was stop loss 5 pips above here, and to take it down, which there are some people that actually got that entry right there, right? Take it down for 25 pips. So that's like a clean 1:5. And that happened on Tuesday morning.
This was CPI-ish. CPI-ish. But we still kill it.
Break this low, and then we look for any form of imbalances that were here. So as we can see, we have this sell side imbalance and buy side inefficiency right over there, and then tap into those zones right there and then push all the way down, right? Happened in CPI. The market shot all the way down. As you can see, this huge wick. The market shot all the way down, like about 25 pips, and then rejected to where? To our point of interest, our supply zone. And once it got there, we done what needs to be done. Sell that baby. Because we know at worst, we're going to hit stop loss above our supply zone, which we had a simple 10 pips stop loss above our supply zone, right? If we hit stop loss, but we didn't. So guess what? We hit our 1:3 very nicely. Boom, right there. And the market just, within 30 minutes, guys, we were done on CPI. And I called this before.
You know how the market is. So like after CPI, you must be very careful. But still, the analysis is analysing.
Change of character, right? So those are the 2 things we're looking for. But overall, guys, we already know that there is an ultimate direction of buys. Why are we saying ultimate direction of buys? Let's go back to the weekly. I'm long. The accumulation is kind of long, and as you can see, we got this manipulation during Asian session, which we were not looking at Asian session. We don't trade during Asian session. And then we tapped into what? We tapped into this supply zone right here in Asian session, and then dropped, right? So that's when we filled this daily fair value gap. So after that, all we were looking for is at least let us get a change of character to the upside. And we ended up getting that, but over 2 days, right? So 2 sessions, basically from this London session. So we got this break of structure here. We got the change of character over here. Then the market pushed all the way up to give us higher highs to prove that we are actually going to go all the way up, and then swept all this liquidity that was resting below here, and then tapped into this order block, demand zone, in London session, gave us another change of character, and started to shoot up. So that was the trade, and what we were looking for there is simply for price to push back all the way up into that H4 fair value gap that we marked. And that's exactly what happened.
One thing is for sure, guys. When we say we are looking for, it's not really to say that we will, right? So basically, that's why my mentorship, or I'd say my education, not mentorship. My education is important because you know when we do this and when we don't do this. So sometimes this happens, but we do that. And you know how you need to know that? By knowing what to look for. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Clean.
Sweep this liquidity on Monday. And then maybe Tuesday, start 212, push up if it does create a change of character. And if it doesn't, we already know that it's going for that 50% of a daily fair value gap, right? So that's basically what we're going to be looking at, guys, for this coming week, is for the market to sweep our liquidity. And as you know, after liquidity is swept, you need to look for some form of change of character, right? So after liquidity is swept, you need to look for some form of change of character. USD and Euro USD. By the time the market got to this place, like got to like about, I'd say 40% of this fair value gap. By the time we got to 40% of this fair value gap, Euro USD and GBP USD had already reached, had already actually failed, redelivered this fair value gap, right? So basically what that said is that AUDUSD is not going to fill it completely. If you guys watched the recap, you probably saw that I said at a specific point, I'm actually going to maybe close the trade and look for sales. Why? Because I actually knew that there was a very lovely daily fair value gap. So for Tuesday, I was just looking at price to reject at a specific time, a kill zone to be specific. And that's exactly what happened, guys. So London kill zone, we actually got a very, very lovely confirmation right here. Very lovely confirmation. This was during a London kill zone, guys. And as soon as the market started to tank and close right here, I already knew that we're going down and we're going to chase Monday's liquidity.
Here's a free gem for you guys. Price will always go from external range liquidity to internal range liquidity. Trust me.
As you can see, guys, the market can easily open bullish, right? And then react at some point and then drop into this fair value gap and then give us maybe some buying pressure. And then from there, push all the way up. So yeah, and all the way up to where, as you can see, we've already marked those H4 fair value gaps. So yeah, with that said, guys, basically that's what we're going to be looking for in this week, is if the market reacts to this fair value gap. Here we go. Price opened up on Monday. As I said, price will most likely open bullish and then come fetch this liquidity, right? So price opened bullish and then dropped all the way to fetch this liquidity to actually sweep that liquidity over there and head for this one. And I said, as soon as the price gets there, we need to look for change of character on our smaller time frame, which is your M15, M5, and also, if you may, M1, right? So that's exactly what happened. As soon as price swept this liquidity, it started to actually show us some bullish signs, some strength towards the upside. Why? Because all of a sudden we were not forming lower lows anymore, and we started to form higher highs, right? Into Tuesday, and then the market just liquidated this low right here and started to push up. And if you missed that because you don't trade Asian session, then it was as simple as London kill zone. You look for your fair value gaps that were created in your Asian kill zone. You trade them in London, right? And this is the last fair value gap that was there. And as you can see, in London kill zone, the market reacted and there was a nice buy right there, a very nice buy. And of course, since we know that we are bullish, what would you target? You target Monday's high, at least. And that was a solid 40 pips. So with a 10 pip stop, you have an easy one is to 4. Clean. The clean one is to 4, right? But we know that overall, we are targeting this liquidity here because that's where we were like, we need to get to that point. If we are going to be bullish, we definitely will get to that point.
One thing is for certain, that when you know, as I said, your external range and internal range, and you know how to use it, the market will look at you like this.
And H4 fair value gap and gives us any change of characters on the smaller time frames, then we will be buying this pair into this liquidity over here, this buy side, targeting that buy side liquidity, right? So yeah, with that said, guys, let us move on into the H1 time frame. The H1 time frame. As you can see, this fair value gap also bleeds into the H1 time frame. It isn't happening. So with that said, when the market started to push up, then we knew that we had this liquidity right here. And for those that like to just draw liquidity as in just a higher high, this liquidity right here. So we had that liquidity, and then we had this buy side liquidity, external range liquidity right here, right? So when the market swept this liquidity over here, guys, when the market swept the liquidity over here, let's look at the H4. It was so beautiful. Why? Simply because it swept that liquidity right before CPI, right?
And you know, some people ask me, so what's the fuss about the daily, weekly, and monthly time frames? I'm like, because that's where the big money exists. And do you know where the algorithm exists?
The H1 is the same thing. Basically, we're looking for the market to sweep this liquidity. Then we'll start looking for change of characters to the downside, and to the upside, I mean. So basically, we'll be looking for something like this over here. And then we can buy that market, of course, into this fair value gap. We did achieve that. We filled this fair value gap right here. So price has been repriced. So this fair value has been repriced, and now we're looking for it to be rebalanced, right? As you can see, guys. And then we tapped into what? We tapped into this demand zone over here. This very beautiful demand zone over here. And then we started to reject. So now, as I said, that those buyers are probably taking advantage of the fact that we just cleared this liquidity. So these buyers are taking advantage of that. We just cleared that liquidity, and now they're looking for fair value. So where could they be heading? They could be heading into this order block right here.
But at the end of the day, the big money is in the bigger time frames, and the algorithm, it's everywhere.
And as you can see on the daily, it was very evident that this is the liquidity that we've swept. And all we wanted for the market to actually close above this liquidity. And then after that, we know that we can easily head into this order block right here, or the extreme would be this fair value gap right here. And as you can see, we have just tapped into this fair value gap a little bit. So things are actually moving quite well. So yeah, guys, that is it for the recaps. And also, it formed a higher high, lower low, left a fair value, tapped into that fair value, and sold off. Right? To now change the character. Market structure shift. Now it tapped into another fair value right here, and it's starting to show some signs of bears. Right? So all we're looking for is the bears to be a little bit more strong. But there is a chance of this liquidity being swept, all of this liquidity being swept, so that the market can tap deeper into that fair value gap. Why? Because the bulls are still very energetic. As you can see, as you saw in the daily, guys, every day for this past week. This is your man, Prof Zones, and Prof is not for professor, but for Profits. Oh yeah. Okay, guys. As you see and as you saw, right? So I'm just gonna give you a little quick recap, because guys, on GroundUp Breakdown Season 1, I've only been focusing on AUDUSD, right? And now, as I told you guys, that I am the co-host of Monday Market Mapping, and what I do there, I delve a little deeper into AUDUSD. So when you watch GroundUp Breakdown and follow an AUDUSD, and then you go to Monday Market Mapping on Monday, which the link is below, so make sure you do sign up for that. It is free, guys. So when you go to Monday Market Mapping, I go a little deeper into AUDUSD. I also analyze USD CAD and gold. And guys, in the future, there will be indices or indices, however you want to pronounce it. And yeah, a couple of more pairs, right? Or metals. So yeah, with that said, guys, I hope you followed along, right? Because basically what we were talking about on last week's episode 9, basically, was that the price needed to tap into 50% of this fair value, right? Okay, well, the fair value is like this. 50% of this fair value, right? And where's the 50% of that fair value? It's right here. And as I said, that the price tapped into the fair value a little bit when it tapped into this area right here, right? So we were looking for bearish signs to the downside after the market tapped into this 50%, right? And as you can see, guys, that happened quite beautifully. As you can look into your hourly time frame. Sorry about that. There we go. As you look into your hourly time frame, that happened quite beautifully, because as you can see, the market fully tapped into it, pushed to the downside, failed to break this high, and then pushed to the downside to break this low. So what is that? Now we know that this is liquidity, and there should be a small fair value gap up here on the lower time frames, or an order block, and then we know we can push in to sweep that buy side liquidity, and then we can officially sell it, targeting this liquidity point right here as your first target. And of course, your second target would be this liquidity point. And as you can see, guys, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
now
guys,
let me go.
I hope you enjoyed season 2 of GroundUp Breakdown. And yeah, I know I've been away for like 2 weeks, but the reason why is that I've been working on copy trading for you guys, right? Because a lot of people want to learn and earn, and some people don't even have the time to learn. So guess what? For those people, they can actually copy my trades. And for those who don't know, there's some videos that I explained it on my Instagram. I will post the full video on YouTube, right? But basically, copy trading is the easiest way for you to invest, guys. It's the easiest way for you to invest. Because why? When I take the trades, it's copied on your account. And that's it. When I lose, you lose. When I win, you win. So guess what? You can use my expertise for your advantage. And at the end of the day, people ask, what's the catch? Well, there's a profit split. And then number 2, I get to prove that I can trade to people that think I can't trade. And I get to actually be fulfilled, guys, because at the end of the day, we are Forex traders, and it took us years to get to this point of skill and knowledge. And we would like, as leadership Montla said, we would like every household to have at least one profitable trader. And there's many ways to do that. And my way for contributing to that is actually copy trading. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed season 2. And season 3 is going to be a movie. Hey, it's going to be a movie, guys. But hey, with that said, man, I don't want to waste none of your time. Boop. This is Prophet Zones and Prophet Zone for Professor Bud for Profits. Dango.